charge, members of the staff at the Embassy of Fiji to Japan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you. I speak on behalf of the delegation from Fiji to say it's always a pleasure to meet up with the Fijian diaspora wherever they are, wherever we go to. This visit is only a very short one. It's in response to the very kind invitation of the government of Japan to come and visit. It is very important for Japan to keep the Pacific together. And we in Fiji are so blessed that many of our bigger regional neighbors consider us to be a leader among the Pacific Island nations. So when I come here, it's not just that I'm the Prime Minister of Fiji. I'm showing Japan that we are one with them in their respect for the peoples of the Pacific and also for their desire for the Asia-Pacific region to be a peaceful region. We know that Japan is very close to some countries that are not always that friendly. So it is very important for us to show solidarity in our pursuit for peace, law and order in our own countries, and our ability to show that we are one. When we cooperate with one another, when we participate with each other's national development. So I've come in response to that invitation and also to show Japan that we value our friendship very, very much. Japan has done a lot for Fiji. We're very grateful for what the government continues to do for us. The growing number of the Fiji nationals in Japan is an indication of the regard that we have from this great nation. I had a meeting with the Minister for Defense and I was honored with a guard of honor this evening before we had our discussion. In the discussion we laid on the table everything we have done together and everything we look forward to doing together. From Fiji's point of view, it is very, very important that we show Japan that we respect them as a nation, we value their friendship and their cooperation. I mentioned to him today that JICA is a forerunner to the Pacific Ocean of Peace that the leaders of the Pacific declared in Honiara a few months ago. It's along the same lines as the efforts of the American Peace Corps movement in the world. After the turbulence of conflict and wars, there has been this great effort, not always successful, but an effort nonetheless, to bring about peace wherever we are. Some of you may have heard the address I made to the United Nations General Assembly in September. who I called on world leaders, particularly those who are now in conflict zones, in war zones, in fact, having battles raging in their territories or across their borders. I particularly mentioned Gaza and the state of Israel, Russia and Ukraine, and also called out to this part of the world. And much to our surprise, pleasant surprise, 2 days after I made that announcement in the United Nations General Assembly, President Trump announced his 20-point plan for peace in the Middle East. Immediately after that, leaders of the Arab countries got together with Trump to tell him, we will support you. And according to accounts so far, there have been some breakdown in the ceasefire calls on both sides, but they are not deterred, they are not discouraged. They will continue to try and strive for peace in that part of the world. There are efforts also in Europe to bring about resolution to the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. So we may be small in size in the Pacific, even collectively. We populate the world's largest ocean. If we can spread the message of peace in the Pacific to cover the rest of the world, imagine how much the world can direct towards development rather than defenses and military arsenal. So we may be just a small group of us from Fiji, but we want the world to see that we value our relationship with Japan. We value our relationship with other countries in the region. We value our value for peace, so that they too may strive for peace in their own areas. You'll notice that the Permanent Secretary for Employment has come with a delegation. He has come to try and progress and develop the concept of labor mobility in the Pacific, in this case bilaterally with Japan and Fiji. Recently there have been some negative posts, although most of it was false and fake, about our workers in Australia. For us in Fiji, whatever happens in Australia and New Zealand, if something happens here, which is a demerit point for Fiji, we take it very seriously. Kimule manduati o keswa na ronga da. Mai ronga ani baliti kenda vetuni natiki. So we ask you, please remember your folks at home. Some of them would like to come. Some of the young ones are probably aspiring to come to Japan to work or to play. But if you spoil that relationship by your own performance here, you will be jeopardizing the opportunities of coming away. So as we meet today, let us recommit ourselves to being good citizens of Fiji and good ambassadors for Fiji by the way we observe the rules here, the laws of this country. And if anything that we want you to come back with what the Japanese value so much. They have a culture of respect. They have a culture of work ethics that is hard to see anywhere else. You may bring back money. You save some, you send some forward to Fiji, but if anything else, we want you to come back with the value of life that they have here. They value life so much. They have the culture of respect, the culture of work, culture of honesty and loyalty. Come back with those when you come back home. To the young men here, enjoy life here, but don't forget that we have a home at home. We have some old folks at home wanting to see you come back healthy and make them wealthy. Some of you may have read that I mentioned in Australia that in the first 4 months of this year, our diaspora in Australia had sent home almost $500 million in remittances. And Australia alone will this year remit to Fiji, our diaspora in Australia, remit to Fiji more than $1,000 million, $1 billion. That's a lot of money. When you look at that in comparison with our GDP, that is a big contribution to the economy. We value that very much. I'm sure the little we have here in Japan also contribute a lot. And we thank you. We congratulate you for the successes you have had in studies, in sports, and in work. You will have an opportunity to ask. Perhaps it will be of interest to you that we have ahead of us in government a very serious program for our legislative assembly, for parliament. We had come into government with a promise to review our constitution and some of the laws. A lot of them couldn't be done because we didn't have the required majority in the House. Government didn't have it. But now we have. And the issue of the constitutional change, you probably remember that we took up a motion in the House to amend the constitution, and that was defeated by one person not voting. One person who had promised to vote with government didn't even come to parliament. Although we had a majority, we didn't have the required majority that was necessary, was needed for the second reading to be passed. So we couldn't get it beyond that. So we took the question up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has come back with a workable path, a path that is negotiable. We can now go back to Parliament. The parliamentary majority required has been reduced from 75% to 66 to 2/3, instead of 3/4 now 2/3, and the referendum. Instead of the 75% of registered voters in Fiji, it is now a simple majority of the registered voters who vote in the referendum. So it's easier. We will not take it for granted, but it is easier. So we will go with the process as soon as the next sitting starts in the last week of this month. Last week of this month and first week of December, we will start tabling constitutional amendment acts. Our economy is doing well. Our debt is coming down as a percentage of GDP A lot of people still saying, oh, still very difficult. They still looking at the cost of living, or cost of living something beyond our control. When there's war out there in the world, the cost of bringing goods to Fiji increases. And that is passed on because of value-added tax to the consumers. But the government has tried to keep abreast with the cost of living increase by increasing the minimum wages for our workers. That was very well received. We continue to support parents and families who have children going to school. With the back to school grant, we have increased the sugarcane price. We have increased the price per ton of rice from our local farmers. And rice is a growing crop at the moment. Growing agricultural product right now. Many of our villages are now, some of our villages are now going to rice farming, particularly in the Kondrove, where we have to see that. So if we can reduce our food imports from abroad, we should adequately address the food aspect of our daily spending. So while we are out here, we are also struggling at home, but managing. We wish you well. Continue to contribute to the livelihood of your people at home. We don't know it's okay. We say we're poor. And don't can live in love the Torah. When you walk out there, you can love around to maybe. Sangat dapat nak cakap nak kan? So can you believe it? When you come back home, see how widely they spend their earnings. Kau ni laknai ni week misal hakim boleh tu nak kiri tu ni. Tamagu marur itu nak kanggur kau ni sa kangan di kana. Ni to boleh mandi. Bukan kemana kita nak tu ni. Misalkan ni harus kan? We don't have to work for it. We're just receiving it from you. So it's easier to spend, sorry. Dari buka taka, dari tutukin taka, dari tamma taka. Ini orang yang boleh ke. Ni boleh ke na, ni lesani. Come and apply it at home. Terus ni sangani rawan ang kita na mata sa mengilan. Most toka ya. We are looking forward to better results in the future. So once again, thank you very much for what you're doing. Keep the blue banner going, flying high. Kakunya ni Roman Duarte kenda. Kawan ni tu na baklo ngerti kem ni tu naklo. Kenapa ya?
No sé si. Okay.